Today, on Mallard Matinee, we're going to be talking about 1998's The Mask of Zorro.
You gonna do like the...
I'll see if I can try and do that somehow. I don't know if I have any way of actually doing that. Also, I think I did it backwards technically for the camera, so it'll be like a backwards
Yeah.
But whatever.
You could just flip this.
Yeah.
When you're sitting on the wrong side.
Yeah, I know. Whatever. It's going to be so fast, nobody's going to notice anyways. Yes, welcome back to Mallard Matinee, where we talk everything movies. And we are going to be doing Revenge Month this month. So starting us off, we are doing The Mask of Zorro. Antonio Banderas, Anthony Hopkins, Catherine Zeta-Jones. Wonderful movie from 1998. But before we get into talking about the movies, we'd like to introduce ourselves and kind of talk about like maybe the first time we might have seen this movie. So let's start with the fellow to my right.
Yeah, I am Louis Lightning. And for me, like, I saw this shortly after it came out. On like VHS.
Yeah.
So it came out in theaters. I didn't see it in theater. Like I have memories of seeing it at my grandmother's. This is the only time I remember seeing it prior to watching it like just last week for this. But yeah, I remember watching it at her house. She had it. And like I was probably like, I don't know, 1998.
Yeah.
Like 12 to 13-ish. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. We would have been 12 that
Yeah,
year.
12.
Yeah.
I wasn't even doing the math. I was just thinking, how old do I feel I was then? But yeah, and I watched it with my cousins, and you know, it was enjoyable and stuff. Like, I don't think I really like sat there and like really got into all the nuance of like the revenge aspect of it and everything. But like, I thought it was a fun, adventurous movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoyed it, and like watching it again now, I kind of got to look at it in a more serious way.
Yeah. And yeah, I never saw it in theaters, but I definitely saw it. We had it on VHS when it came out, and back then I remembered seeing like the old 1950s, some of the old 1950s Zorro stuff. I think it was a Disney show, and I was like, whatever. I never really cared about the character. Yeah. So when my parents bought the VHS, we started watching. I was like, I don't really want to watch this. And then it started off, and I was like, you know, this is not too bad. And going through, I was like, you know, it wasn't a bad movie. I kind of enjoyed that. And it's been a long time since I've seen it. I've probably seen it maybe 2 or 3 times since that first viewing, but not for like over 20 years, I would say. Yeah. Probably. I haven't seen it for 20 years. So we're watching it now. It was nice. It was almost like fresh eyes, but also familiar as well.
I was going to say, like, I've seen Zorro before, too, like, before the reboot, and like, cause that 98 was, like, you know, trying to bring back the series for modern audiences. But I was aware before, like, was that Simpsons episode with the Zorro, was that before 1998 or not?
Like the Captain Ding Dong dude with the bell, or which?
No, when he starts slapping everyone, he's like, "I challenge you to a duel."
Oh, that one. I think that might have been around that time. It might have been like 2000-ish, maybe 99. I'm guessing.
But yeah, like I know I'd seen references before. Like I never sat down and watched like the old 1950s or whatever serials they had at the time. But I was aware of Zorro the character. Like I was aware of him. I was aware of like the Shadow and like Flash Gordon.
Yeah, Shadow.
Not that I ever watched. I did watch the Shadow movie.
The Phantom.
Or the Phantom.
That's the one. Yeah, Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah, all that stuff.
I watched all those at my grandmother's.
Those pulpy kind of detective, and like, you know, the guy kind of bucking against the bad guys, you know, helping the greater good, sort of thing. Those kind of characters. When we were going to be doing this month of revenge, I had a few things in mind. When you suggested your movie, which you won't mention, it was a little more of a serious, darker, I guess, tone. So I wanted to go with something that was a little more lighthearted. I knew this one was a little more lighthearted because I did have some others in mind. Definitely would. I was thinking like Munich would have been like one of my other options. Like that's a much more serious movie. So, you know, maybe I need to make a palate cleanser of a less serious movie. But this movie was directed. I have it written down here. By Martin Campbell.
Yeah, I remember seeing the director's name. Like, I don't know him from anything else.
So looking him up, I was actually a little bit surprised with a couple of his credits. Like, he did your favorite James Bond, GoldenEye.
Okay.
So, and I can actually see coming like that era of GoldenEye or of James Bond. I could see that. Like, it was less serious in the 90s, I would say. But then he also did Casino Royale as well too.
The newest one.
Yeah, Casino. Like he did the one with what's his face? The most recent James Bond.
Yeah.
Ones. And I was like, that's tonal different shit. I'm surprised that they had him be able to do that kind of different tonal shit because
Craig, what was his name? Craig.
Oh, Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. There you go.
Sorry, I don't know.
That's bugging me.
I didn't even think of it too, but yeah. So I was like, it's kind of neat to see that he has different directing styles, obviously, because I would say this movie is more of like a 90s movie. It definitely has more of a pulpy, kind of almost comedic, definitely a comedic tone to it, not as serious.
A bit. I feel like it was both that, like 90s stuff, but also they were still trying to keep true to like what Zorro was from like those old serial, like, you know, movies and stuff. Because a lot of it feels like when he's swinging off of like pillars or branches and stuff like that, just feels like that's not what a guy's going to do when he's being chased by like 30 guys.
Yes.
He's not going to swing around while they all watch.
You got a bunch of guys shooting at you, and you're just going to be like this big target. That's just like,
that feels true to back then. Like, you know, like that's kind of a mixture of the two. They started trying to do that.
Yeah. So we'll go into some of the actors that are in the movie, starting like the first Zorro that we see, because there's two Zorros in this movie, played by Anthony Hopkins. He plays Don Diego de la Vega. So what do you think about Anthony Hopkins?
I love the Hop. I call him the Hop.
Yeah, you know, shorten it up a little bit.
I do like him, and I do think he's really good as an actor. Even here, like just being a guy, like, you know, a master swordsman, a veteran, like who's done this for a long time. I like all of that, but he really does not come across as a guy who's supposed to be a Spaniard. Like this is clearly just an old
those beautiful
English
blue
guy,
eyes of his,
an old English guy, yeah.
His Welsh accent.
Well, there's we'll get to that, but there's something with the Welsh thing that I'll bring up later. But yeah, like I like him a lot. Like he's just not like, you can't get past it that he's supposed to be a Spaniard and he doesn't look it.
And
that was for me.
I can't help but think that doing a movie nowadays, you would not get a Welsh or English actor to play this role. You would probably get someone from Mexico to play this role, or even Antonio Banderas, who is Spanish, who's from Spain. He's not Mexican either. Like, I'm a little surprised of all the actors, and even Catherine Zeta-Jones. She's Welsh.
That's what I was gonna say, that she's Welsh. I
didn't know that. I didn't know she was Welsh. Yeah, that surprised me too.
But apparently, just talking about Anthony Hopkins, because I was looking at this, like, why did he take this role? And he apparently wanted to do an action movie really bad at that time. And he's like, this is like my last chance, whatever. So when Zorro came up, he's like, oh, I'll go for it. And as a director or casting agent, you're like, I'm not turning Anthony Hopkins down. So they brought him on. And like, I don't usually think of him as being fit or anything, but when you see him in this movie, he is, for himself, he's pretty svelte.
And like, I looked at his age too during this movie when it came out. He would have been about 61 years old.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So for him to have that trimmer fit, like he definitely has a wider face, but he has that more svelte fit, I'd say too. And
he's not like super ripped or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I thought he was wonderful, and like, he doesn't even try to hide his English accent though. It's not like he's not being a Spaniard or Mexican.
I think he had away with a little bit because he is. Like, isn't he like Count de la Vega? Or like, he is a more noble class. De la Vega. He's more of like a noble class. Yeah. So he could be like, oh, maybe he talks with an accent for that reason. Because no one is speaking Spanish in the movie, right?
True, yeah. Well, I don't know. What does the one maid speak?
Well, that's what I was like.
I don't know if that's Spanish or not.
That's what I didn't know.
Because if it is, then why wouldn't they understand it? Because aren't they technically speaking Spanish just in English?
That's what I'm saying. Like, for us, it's all translated, but then she's not speaking it.
Or is she speaking like the Mayan language or something like from before the Spaniards would have taken over?
She spoke to him like when in the beginning when there's like he's still young and stuff. She spoke to him like with a baby. Like she spoke in English or whatever, but then she couldn't speak.
Yeah,
it's so
her daughter or granddaughter was interpreting for her. Yeah, true.
So I was like, I don't know what that was all about.
Yeah,
but we'll get back to the cast.
So Anthony Hopkins, I think, like you said, he doesn't really look like a Spaniard or a Mexican, but he's a wonderful actor, and you can't deny that. He's great to have in this movie.
Oh yeah.
So moving next to Antonio Banderas, who's obviously the other lead of the movie, or the main lead, I would say, the second Zorro, who's getting trained by Don Diego.
Yeah, this is like so. Hopkins is probably like the Zorro for, I'd say, the first quarter of the movie, and then the last 3 quarters. It's basically Banderas is the lead. He's the new Zorro, and as I remember it, Banderas was like, this is kind of when he was just starting to peak out and become like incredibly popular in movies and stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Desperado would have been before this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know there's probably 1 or 2 films before, but this was like supposed to be a big blockbuster at the time. I don't know if you can say that about Desperado.
No, that was more of a smaller Robert Rodriguez type movie, and it wasn't. I don't know if it was a blockbuster. I don't know if it really broke out that much.
So I feel like this was like the bigger of the two. But anyways, yeah, he's perfect for the role. Like, if you're doing a Hollywood one, sure. If you want to try to be like, if you went to like a more gritty, realistic thing, he could probably still do it, but he'd probably go with someone else. I feel like Banderas really likes to kind of put a little bit of his charm, which is 100%. A little bit comedic all the time.
He is charming as hell. I love it. Yeah.
But that could throw off. If you're doing a gritty one, it might seem inappropriate at times. But here, in this particular film, like, he is the sauce for it. It's perfect.
He's wonderful. There's a reason why they cast him as Puss in Boots in the Shrek movies. It is basically a cat version of Zorro. It is him being Zorro as a cat, and it's the same damn character basically. And I love him. I love him in this whole movie. Even when he's got the beard and he's with his brother, and even then the comedic tones that are in this movie and how he portrays everything. And he's also sexy as hell. He's a sexy guy.
It's funny because, like you said, he had the beard in the beginning. And I think you could do like a kind of more disheveled version of Banderas. That looks fine on him too, but he's not going to be like the super hunk or whatever. He looks a little bit greasy and sweaty and stuff too. Yeah. But then, he has a glow up and he's suddenly super sexy Antonio again.
And he's
little fake mustache he gets in.
Yeah, he rips it off at one point. I mean, he's just charismatic as hell and funny. Like just like even like subtle things like Blackie calling his horse Storm, come here. Or I'll get another horse, he says. You can't remember what the horse's name is. It's just funny. He's just got this charismatic way about him, man. He's a great lead. I loved him. Catherine Zeta-Jones would be Elena, the daughter of Don Diego, who gets taken as a baby and then raised by the main bad guy. What do you think of Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Oh, I liked her in this. And I always thought she was, Spanish or some kind of Latino. Like, for the longest time. Like, I think maybe, like, a few years ago I realized she wasn't, but I didn't know for sure what she was. But then I was like, she's what, Welsh as well? Welsh-Irish?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what kind of name is Zeta-Jones for like a Welsh-Irish? And I guess Zeta-Jones, like the area her grandparents are from, like, and Catherine was like one of her grandparents. But I'm like, wow, I would not think that she is a British person. Well, she did no accent. Like I'm not picking up any accent when I'm watching her.
Well, she puts on a little bit of a Spanish one. I think.
A Spanish one. I mean,
not like a Welsh one, like you have with Anthony Hopkins. Yeah. But I think this was my introduction to her when I was a kid, and I think she was beautiful. She is a gorgeous woman.
That's like the one time I really think she's really good looking.
I think she's always good looking, but she's especially good looking in this movie. Like she was always nice to see on the screen, and I think that the charisma or the connection that her and Antonio Banderas have, like they really light up the screen. I think like when they're dancing or even when they're talking with each other, I think there's definitely a chemistry between the two of them, and I think it shows really well. And I was looking things up too. I was wondering, like, I wonder if Salma Hayek was ever considered.
Well,
for this movie.
Sometimes in my head, not that I don't. If I stop and I think, I can remember. But if I just quickly pass through thinking about Mask of Zorro, I always automatically throw in Salma Hayek. I know it's not when I stopped actually. I remember that it's not her.
Yeah, and I read somewhere that Robert Rodriguez was once, like, he was trying to direct this movie. He never got to because he wanted to have a little bit of a darker, more R-rated movie. So he never got to actually book it. But if he was going to, he would have wanted Salma Hayek, which would have been Desperado again.
I find it funny that it'd be darker, and it's like, the guy who did Spy Kids was saying he'd do a darker version of this.
Well, have you ever seen Machete?
No.
It's pretty brutal.
Well, I said, bloody. Once Upon a Time in Mexico, I've seen that.
Yeah, that's bloodier too.
Yeah.
So then we can maybe go to some of the couple of villains as well too. So we got Stuart Wilson, who is Don Rafael Montero, which is the main bad guy. He's kind of like a politician kind of character.
He's good. I know I've seen him in other stuff. I cannot recall what I've seen him in, but he has that look of like a politician, especially like in this kind of era that they're kind of factoring in. Maybe not so much Spanish politician, but he does have a look of some guy who.
But when you give him that goatee look and the kind of twirled mustache, it works.
But you could do that with, like, he could be in like London and being royalty or nobility with that same, like, just give him a collar and whatever, and he looked the same.
True.
But I liked him in this. He has a really snobby. Like whenever he shows up, he's always like talking down. Like even when he shows up to. He comes back to Spain after Mexico. Yeah. After being in Spain, expelled, he comes back and he just like shits on all the nobles that are there, all like the dons that were there, and he's like, the people don't even like me. You don't like me, and he's like, just talking down to everyone when he's there, and it's like, he does it well.
You believe
it.
He fits the role of the villain, of this guy's arrogance that he has, of definitely feeling like he's above everybody else. And I can't remember him from anything else. I know I've seen him and stuff, and I feel like he's brought that to those roles as well too. And he does. He definitely fits that part. And it just matches the tone of the movie as well too. He's this dick, this asshole, and he steals Elena as a baby and raises her to be his own daughter, and she doesn't even know that. Which is so there is like, it's not like overtly about revenge, this movie, but there's definitely revenge for both of our characters.
I think
both of them get. I'm saying it's not like, I wouldn't say it's maybe the main part of the story, but it is in there. Like it's pieced in there.
I would say it is like, I think there's three. There's the revenge for Banderas' Zorro. There's the classic Zorro of Hopkins getting his revenge, and then the middle of it is just helping the people of Mexico.
See, I wouldn't say it's revenge. I would say that's just...
The middle one's not, but the other two are.
I think, helping the people of Mexico is like the main crux of the movie. I'd say that's the main part. And then the bits of the revenge is maybe what their initial driving reason for doing things is. But I don't think that's the main force of the movie. It's there.
I don't think if you have the revenge, if you don't have the revenge, you don't get that main part. So like the revenge becomes part of that central thing.
And you might not get Antonio Banderas' character to even care.
And you don't even really know about the mine and the terrible conditions until like the third act.
Yeah.
It brings it up. So it is mostly about revenge until that, and then that becomes the new central story.
And then the final actor I'll bring in is the other bad guy, who's like the smaller tier, Matt Lesher, Captain Harrison Love.
Yeah, I liked him a lot. Like, he is kind of a lower tier. Like, part of me feels like they wanted someone young who's more agile or threatening maybe than the old Spanish or whatever that guy, Don Raphael.
Yeah.
Someone a little bit more, agile and youthful to look like he's kind of a threat. But, he's also like calculating stuff. But you don't get that coldness that he's got. Like, that he has the head in the jar scene or the hand in the jar, which comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was bleak, right? Right away, comes from nowhere.
Well, we know he took the head, but for what purpose we have no idea. Yeah. And then it just comes out of nowhere that he's got this head in the jar, and it's that one scene, and that's it.
Yeah, like, the head and the hand of Three Finger Jack. Yeah.
But it was just like, wow, that just because he's there, but he's always kind of like a lower tier, like bodyguard stooge kind of guy who doesn't really get a whole lot.
He's like head of the military, I guess. Is it the military or whatever? The guard that they have. Yeah, he's like they're the lead.
I'm so confused because the way that they explain it, from what I understand, is that this is still during the Mexican-American War, and so there's fighting going on, and Captain Love is an American.
Okay.
And he's working for this Spanish guy in Mexico, and they're gonna help like the Mexican general. Like they were gonna buy this so he could fund their war. I'm like, don't the Americans know where their soldiers are? And like, it all seems so bad.
I don't know. I don't know the history. I don't know how they're working together technically. Why they're working together like that. But one thing I did look up actually. I thought it was kind of crazy. Was this Captain Love? It was an actual character in real life.
Yeah, I looked at it too.
And like how he died isn't a known fact, but. One thing people did know about him is he did actually have a jar with the head in it and a jar with a hand in it, with a three-fingered hand.
It's the same, it was
characters.
Three-fingered Jack and whatever the name was of
Alejandro's brother. I forget what his name was, but I guess they wanted to work that in there somehow. But it was like it came out of nowhere. It was like boom on the tail. Like, holy, that changed the tone right there.
The thing is, they have like a rivalry between Banderas and this Captain Love, but like it's kind of like unspoken. You just see like, oh, he cut in here, and he gives him a dirty look, or it might be like a quip or something. But then, when you get to that scene where they meet, and he puts the jar, it's just, wow, this guy is a lot more sinister than.
Well, you knew that Banderas' character hated him from the get-go because he murdered his brother. Yeah. So you knew that's who he wanted to get revenge off from the beginning. So obviously there was already a hatred from one side of things, but Love never really had a reason to hate Alejandro or Antonio Banderas' character, other than the fact that they both kind of were pining for the same girl at that time. Yeah. That's what it seemed like anyways. But yeah, let's get more into the story of The Mask of Zorro. I do have the 2-pack of The Legend of Zorro, but I've only seen the movie once. I don't think it was as good as The Mask of Zorro. So
I've never seen it, so I couldn't even speak on
it. But it does have Banderas and Zeta-Jones as well, too.
Hopkins didn't come back?
Spoiler, I don't think he could.
He ghost.
Yeah, unless you do some sort of flashback. But yeah, getting into the movie, starts off, I liked... Right off the beginning, we're getting a flaming Z on or Z as we are in Canada, on the screen, and then there's an explosion and a sound effect of like a cougar growl or something.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Happened a bunch of times in the movie. Anytime there was an explosion, it was like growl.
Yeah.
Throughout the movie, I was like, did they do that a lot in like '90s movies? Because I know when they made the MacGruber movie, they made that. On purpose. They made like very prominent the growl when they had an explosion because they thought it was funny that movies had that. And I was like, why? Why did movies need to make a cougar or a panther or whatever growl in an explosion? It already should sound cool enough as it is.
Yeah.
That was like the first thing that you see is the Z and then the explosion.
Well, I think there's some text on the screen too.
And then there is some text, and I thought
saying that this is it describes the time.
The time and the setting of Mexico at the time, and I think that could have been a little more dynamic. Because it just slowly comes into the screen and it sits there, and it's kind of small text too, actually.
Well, I had the problem with like the font or the text or whatever they were doing. It's like at an angle where it's like kind of leaning away all the time, which I thought was so weird. I'm like, she needs to stand up a little bit more. It's just...
Also, when the music was coming too, it was like. It's getting faster and faster. I was like, oh shit, am I gonna have time to read all this? I paused it so I wouldn't miss any of the text. I was like, how fast is this text gonna go? Yeah, I would have had time, but just the way that the speed of the music was going, I was like, oh crap, I'm not gonna be able to read it all. But what are they saying? Okay, you can read it all. You have time. But I was getting panicky.
Yeah.
And then it goes into whatever. Back when Anthony Hopkins was a younger Zorro, and he's saving like these 3 men from being.
Count Raphael is being kicked out.
Yeah,
he's being pushed out. All the Spanish are, and like the last thing he wants to do is like catch Zorro. So he just takes some random guys from the crowd. He's gonna hang them. Yeah. So forces Zorro to show up. But yeah, he's the Zorro at the time, Hopkins. Yeah. But then they have these two brother kids who were like orphans. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Like they say their parents are dead, and that's supposed to be Banderas' character when he's young, and his brother, and they're kind of like watching all the ongoings. So the big fight happens in this courtyard, and they're huge Zorro fans. Like everyone loves Zorro.
Yeah. Well, he's basically the Batman of the time.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because Batman obviously took a lot from Zorro. And I mean, if you ever watch a lot of Batman's origins, a lot of times they went to see Zorro.
Yes,
the night his parents died.
Yeah.
So it all makes sense, all working together. So he was like a superhero of the times, and the kids were enamored by him.
So Zorro saves the day there, and then he goes back to his like real life, his personal life is Don de la Vega, and he goes back, and you see his wife, and they have like a baby, and he's talking to like the maid that's there. And, he's got like a wound on his arm and shit too from the fight.
Yeah.
But he's just like, having a loving family moment, and they're all content and kind of happy with how things go.
Yeah.
And bam!
Well, he was going to retire too.
He was going to retire.
This is my last time. I'm done.
Yeah. Well, Zorro. Raphael was leaving, so he thought he didn't have to fight anymore. Yeah. And then Raphael shows up there because I guess he had an inkling that that De La Vega was Zorro.
Yeah, I don't think he specifically says what gave him away or anything like that.
He doesn't. But when he gets there, he grabs his arm, which has like the wound, and he gets the blood stain. So then he's gonna take him in, and then obviously Zorro tries to stand up for himself, and he has a fight, and his wife gets in the way, and she gets killed.
He gets shot by one of his guards.
Yeah, gets shot by one of the guards, which he instantly Raphael's like, because he's in love with De La Vega's wife.
He's jealous of Diego because he wanted her for himself.
So the fact that the guard shot him, he just goes and kills. Or
he stabs him right in the stomach. Yeah, he just kills him.
But so then De La Vega's distraught and everything. And this is what I thought was funny. Like, you got like probably like 8 or 9 armed guards in there, and your enemy of Don Raphael there fighting you. And you think, oh, the baby's crying. I'm just going to get up and go to the baby because the baby in the commotion starts crying. He gets up, he starts walking right by Don Raphael. And Raphael just, with the pommel of his sword, knocks him out and they capture him.
Yeah. But before all that even happens, I just wanted to when I noticed that the tone of the movie was going to be a little more comedic and kind of a little goofy, I guess, more pulpy, is back when he goes to save those 3 men that were going to be shot, and he does the whip against the one sword, and he pulls it, and then all this, or not sword, sorry, against the one gun, because they have like all these guys in a line. Firing line, and he pulls it, and then they accidentally shoot like their leaders. Like, okay, that's kind of comedic right there. It's not taken too seriously. There's no way that would happen. But that's just how I knew this. I knew this was gonna be less serious. Also, I liked when he marked the Z into Raphael's neck there.
Yeah, he puts a Z.
I kind of wish that would have come up a little bit later. Like, aha, you see, you still have my mark.
It does come up much later.
Yeah, I just thought it would have been like a thing that would have been a little more.
Yeah.
But yeah, then he jumps ahead 20 years because Diego's been in jail for that whole time.
Yeah.
And that's when you see Raphael come to visit him because he's come back to Mexico.
Yeah, it's funny because he has his big reveal that he's coming back to the public is the day after, but he comes the day before to this prison in Mexico where Don De La Vega, the old Zorro, has been this whole time, and he's like got a wrapping over his eye. I don't know if he's doing that on purpose or anything. Because how would he have known that Raphael's coming back or whatever? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then it was almost like a Spartacus moment where all the prisoners are like, "I am Zorro, and he's like, whatever, he's dead. He can't be here. He's not one of these guys." Because he's got a long beard and he's gray hair now, so he does look different than he did back 20 years ago. Yeah. So I can understand why he wouldn't have recognized him. But yeah, then it cuts also back to the new grown-up. Banderas. Alejandro and his brother. Because at first you think that they're prisoners of like a mercenary or a bounty hunter, Three-Finger Jack. Yeah. He's got the two of them like walking with their hands cuffed behind his horse, and he's kind of dragging them and forcing them to sing and stuff. And bringing them in for a bounty. Bringing them into bounty to the local police, who are like, "Oh yeah, well we'll give you money for this or whatever." And then when I can't remember, they do something that ticks off his brother, and his brother like pulls his hands out of the cuffs. They see he has a gun. Yeah. He's like, "Hey, weren't you guys in handcuffs?" Yeah. So Three-Finger Jack was working with them, and they get all the local police, and they tie him up to a cactus. I remember that. That was something that I remember from the first time I watched it. They're all standing naked, all like tied together around his cactus. I had bare ass around the cactus. Yeah, just like And I swear that one guy, he's like a running gag that he always keeps coming back. Like the smaller dude. I think so. I'm pretty sure it's the same guy every time. Yeah, I think it is supposed to be the same guy. I don't know what his name is, or if it's supposed to be a running gag or not. But I do recognize him popping up a couple of times. But so then they think they get away because they're horse thieves. They steal horses and some food. Remember, they're stealing some food. Yeah. The people in the town like them because they don't. They're kind of like a Robin Hood, I'd say, for the town. They're kind of doing things. They're a little selfish themselves, yes, but they're also doing things for the town as well. But they take like 10 paces out of town, and then you got like a whole line of these cavalry guys with Captain Love, and they're onto them. Yeah. And like Three-Finger Jack tries to jump off the horse, gets shot midair. Yeah. And then him and his brother take off, and his brother gets clipped in the leg. They're running through the brush. Yeah. Gets shot in the leg. Alejandro Banderas tries to help him, and he's like, "No, just go." And he like punches him at one point. Yeah. Like, tell him to go. Get the fuck out. Yeah. So Banderas just hides a little bit further away, but all Captain Love and his guys come. And they surround them, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna." Like it's what do you say? It's an honor to kill you or something like that. Something like that. He says it's an honor. Yeah, I think because it's like you're so sought after that. For me to catch you is basically it should be an honor. And then his brother's like, "No, you're not going to do that," and just which he didn't really do it good because like it was pretty. It wasn't like straight at him. It was kind of like a weird angle. It was a weird angle, and I'm like. Yeah. Even if he got it, probably would just be not into the vital organs either, just whatever. Yeah. But I guess he kills himself. And Captain Love's like, take his head, and they cut his head off. Yeah. And that's all you really see? It's just alluded to. Like, you don't see it. You just see him slice, and then you see the medallion around his neck go flying. Yeah. Like, you don't, see the head flap or anything. I think you might see, a burlap sack later that they hand He does say bag the head, I think. So I don't know if you actually see the head in the bag or not, but he does say to bag it. And I honestly... Because watching this, I remembered. Wait a minute! I thought Three-Finger Jack was at the end with the mine. Why did he die here? I didn't realize he didn't die when he got shot there off the horse. I didn't remember that part. Yeah, I did remember him confronting him at the mine later on. So I was like, I didn't think he died. And then we get to that part later on. Like, okay, he didn't die. So that makes more sense to me. He got wounded when he jumped off, and then he made a joke later. I find it kind of hard to be mad at that point to be mad at Captain Love because I was like, okay, well they are horse thieves. So they're criminals, and the cops are just doing their job. There's plenty of other, Captain Love we know is a psycho, but a lot of the guys are just doing a job being the Mexican police or whatever we would call that at the time.
Yeah.
And they're just doing their job. And Captain Love didn't kill his brother. His brother killed himself.
Technically. He was about to kill him. But, yes. Yeah, why could he be mad at him for making his brother kill himself? That's not his fault.
It's not.
But I will say it's... both of our bad guys, they're both really skilled swordsmen, too.
Yeah.
Was that a thing back in the day? Did people need to learn how to use a sword so well?
I don't know.
Because it seems like everybody that goes against Zorro is very prominent in using the sword. They're very skilled at it.
I don't know. Like, at the time, I feel like if you're, like, nobility and you're trying to... Like, Mexico was untamed. So if you're going to try and take that place over, you better have some skills fighting. That's how I look at it.
Maybe that's like a high class thing, yeah. Maybe
and that is just my theory. It is not.
It's like fencing nowadays or tennis, I would say. If you're a high class, those are the things that maybe you're into, or like a polo.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was sword fighting, a fencing sort of thing. So maybe that's why they're so good at it.
But yeah, it was also weird that he said he was so honored to take his life or whatever. But like later on, he complains about earlier on they complain about how they're worth so little, being horse thieves. Like, why would Captain Love be honored to take someone who apparently has a low bounty? Yeah, I didn't understand that, but.
Oh, and then we talked about Anthony Hopkins as Diego being in prison.
Yeah.
It was shortly after that we saw that he breaks out of prison.
Breaks out of prison.
He pretends to be a dead body, and then they bury the body, and he breaks out with a knife, and he just digs his way out of the freaking dirt. Which I don't know if you could do that. Probably not. It's probably a little harder than it made it look.
Well, also the fact that they killed the guard, and you think they would notice the time it takes to bury a body, take it out I don't know how many yards out.
Yeah.
Dig a hole, bury him, fill the hole back in. You don't realize that this guard is dead, missing. That seems kind of strange, but that's overanalyzing it and everything.
Yeah, it is. And then I guess maybe the next day or two or whatever, we see Anthony Hopkins is drunk in town. And this is technically Antonio Banderas. Yeah. Antonio Banderas. Alejandro, he's drunk in town. He lost his brother, and he wants to trade off his medallion
just for more booze.
He wants another drink. Anthony Hopkins stops and is like, "What? Do you think I could get two?
Yeah,
2 drinks." That was funny. And it's also the first time we see Catherine Zeta-Jones' character is in the town as well too.
Well, we saw her when they came on shore.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, she recognizes the smell of the flowers.
That's where it was. Yes, I was gonna say she recognizes the smell of the flowers from when she was not even a year old. That's pretty good nose you got there, Elena. Oh, this is familiar. I remember this smell. You remember from when you were an infant?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
well, she remember her dad's voice too.
That too. Yeah, it's familiar. Your voice.
It's calming, right?
Yeah, it's a very calming voice. Okay, you got a pretty good memory there, Elena.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of when we see Antonio Banderas and Anthony Hopkins meet for the first time, and he asks him, "Where did you get this medallion?" to Antonio Banderas' character Alejandro, and he says, "It's my brother's."
His brother, yeah.
Yeah, because we were given it from Zorro back in the day, and so he's like, oh, he kind of remembers the kids, I guess, who he would have given it to.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed with how little the medallion meant.
Yeah,
because it's got this weird symbol, which I think is supposed to be the same as the symbol in his training area on the floor, with the circles.
Yeah.
But aside from that one explanation there about the training area, there's nothing that the medallion has no real thing to it.
It was literally, I think, just for this reason. So it would give us a reason for him to recognize him from when he was a kid. I think that's literally the reason why it exists.
But the thing is, he wears it the whole movie. It's always pretty prominent, sitting there, and it's why is this so special? It's even to Zorro, what was the point? Why did Zorro wear this when he was fighting?
Why was it important to him, and why was it a big deal when he gave it to a kid? What was the purpose of this?
I thought it really, to me, felt like that was going to be something, and it never was.
I never really thought of it until right now that you mentioned it. It really didn't serve much of a purpose other than the fact that it lets him know that this guy was that kid. That's pretty much that part right there. And then so he brings. Where does he bring him? Because his house burned down. So where is he living?
Well, he had a cave, right? I'm assuming.
I guess he still had the cave.
The cave was behind it, and no one ever found it.
I guess. Yeah, it's like the Bat Cave sort of thing. So I guess they could still go to the cave, not connected to the house. So that's where he would have brought him there, and he would have done some training with him. Which I like. The training montage is cool. It's kind of funny. You see Alejandro with the sword, and then Anthony Hopkins just smacks it out of his hand.
Yeah.
Just simple like that. It's it just shows like definitely like this guy is a dunce and he's kind of a moron, but he has the will. He has the will to want to be someone that is like Zorro.
But some of the training is just jumping over ropes.
Yeah.
To me, it's like that's more of like, you know, if you're on a ship, like because you're a ship with sails, you'd be jumping over ropes and stuff like. Does that really come up a whole lot in Mexico?
But the ropes represent.
Well, I know, like environmental stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's not literally for ropes.
But
like later when he's doing all the horse jumping and stuff like that, that's probably where he learned that training from the horses. That's and then so he wants to become the new Zorro because he does want to get the revenge on Love for killing his brother.
Yeah.
And obviously Anthony Hopkins' character wants to, because he knows that Raphael's back, so and he wants his daughter obviously too. He wants to get his daughter.
Here's the thing about the daughter. How was Raphael going to pretend to be her father? Like, did Raphael not have a wife? Did he have a wife that went along with this? Like, how do you suddenly, is he a bachelor that suddenly he's like, I have a baby child? It's like,
of the other people that are around in his universe. Yeah, like where the hell did this kid come from?
If he had a wife that went along with him, where is she? Like, how did that work?
Yeah.
And like, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Like, she's to believe that her mother died at childbirth, but like nobody would have known who this other woman was that existed for at least 9 months.
Yeah. Like, unless no one from Spain, like when he leaves to Spain, like he just shows back up in Spain and be like, oh yeah, my Mexican wife there, she died or something, and I just had this baby. That's the only way, but it's not explained.
No, it isn't. It's not explained. And whatever, I don't think that's really that big of a deal. It's not that kind of a movie. I don't need the backstory of his non-existent wife.
Well, when it comes in later, he's got to try and explain why Elena is his daughter, and it's like, but there's so many other reasons why she could be questioning, like, where's my mom buried, for example? Yeah.
Little things like that. You think maybe would have come up in the years past.
Because then he's got to explain, like, how does this man, this Don Del Vega, know all this about me if I'm not his daughter, you know?
Then Alejandro, because he wants to prove his worth basically because they saw the horse. It was the same horse, right? Was it Tornado or was it just a horse that was similar?
I think it's similar. I don't think horses would last that long.
That's what I wasn't sure if horses live long enough or not. But it was a black horse. He went to go and try and break it out of these stalls.
I think horses are like 30 years old. And that's not in prime condition.
Yeah, exactly. Would you really want a horse that's that old anyways?
And like, so, I mean, I don't think Del Vega was riding around on like a young one. Yeah. So I would assume it's a different horse, but yeah.
So Alejandro goes to get this horse, and I think he has to fight a bunch of guys in these barracks. Yeah. Which I thought that was a fun scene. That was almost cartoony in the way that the fight scene happens.
Very cartoony.
Especially like when they like all pile on top of him.
And he squeezes out because no one, I guess, is following him. They're just getting on the pile.
This is a dog pile, and he just like falls out and he scurries away. And then this big guy, he runs into him. Yeah. And then he just takes these cannonballs and smashes him in the face and he spits his teeth out.
The big guy gives me great Kali vibes.
Yeah, he's definitely like that size.
But, he smashes his teeth in, but he doesn't get knocked out immediately. He has time to stand back up, turn around, and then spits out a mouthful of teeth. Yeah. Like, that is very...
It's got to give you that comedy moment first.
Yeah, old school comedy.
Yeah. So I love that whole scene with him fighting all of those guys. And like he shows he's learned swordplay. Like, he's fighting guys like two hands. Yeah. Like, and it's good sword fighting. It's actually some really good swashbuckling, I would say.
That is something I wrote down so many times. Like, this swordplay and stuff is very swashbuckling, the way it works. But yeah.
Apparently, like, I read also too, like, Antonio Banderas was actually, he trained quite a bit for this movie. Like, he trained with like the Olympic team. I don't remember if it was I think it was the Spanish Olympic team. And he said like the I don't know if it was the stunt coordinator. He said he was like one of the most sword fighters that he's ever seen ever since Errol Flynn. And Errol Flynn was like the old school like Robin Hood. Yeah. So he said ever since then he's like probably one of the best sword fighters he's ever seen. I was like, that's high praise, obviously, from something like that. But yeah, it was just a really fun scene. It's him getting the horse, and every time he gets on the horse, he gets knocked off somehow.
Well, like the horse and him have like a love-hate relationship. Yeah. Like, I think the horse does think of him as an owner, but it's got its own attitude where it's like, I'm not following your rules. Like, you can call me all you want. I'm not coming or whatever kind of thing. Or it always like stand someplace that makes it difficult for him type thing. Like,
well, when Zorro or so Alejandro's on the roof and he's calling him over, like I said, Blackie, come here, and he does move, and then Joe goes to jump down on him, and he moves forward, and he just lands on the ground. Was that practically done? That guy really jumped from that? Because that was like 3 stories up. That was a pretty high jump for a guy to land on his feet. That could have hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just, it was great comical. It was good action. It was really well done. All of it was just fantastical.
I thought it was really weird though that like Elena sees him like stalking around like her corrals, and like she's not scared at all. She's like initially she's a little bit surprised, but she's like immediately taken with him. He's like, ooh, and then they were flirting and stuff. Like the guy is dressed like a bandit, and you just let it go away. Although she later on admits to she thought he was cute immediately, which is so strange.
Yeah. And then right from there, when he's running away from them, he goes to the church, and he hides in the confessional, and that's where Elena is, and she's giving confession. And it was funny. He's like, I broke the 4th commandment. He's like, it's been 3 days. It's only been 3 days. Come on, come back when you have some real confessions. I've broken the 4th. I broken the 4th sin. He's like,
you killed somebody?
You broke. You killed somebody.
Like, no, that is not the 4th commandment, Father.
Well, then how is it that
how did you break the most
sacred of the commandments? So funny. It's a good interaction between the two of them. Like, she obviously doesn't know who he is. He's thinking he's the priest, and then he breaks out when the bad guys do eventually show up, and he shoots at the confessional, thinking he's still in there, and he already broke out. I don't know how he would have done that with them still there, because they were like in front of it when he would have done that.
Like, I could see him getting to the top of it, but then from there, where do you go?
Exactly.
Like, unless there was a window that was just, I don't think...
Or something right behind the confessional he could have done,
But
it's there just for that comedic relief and for an easy getaway. But yeah, that was that. I love that whole sequence, though. That all like the breaking in and getting the horse, and then Elena, just all of it worked so fantastically. I don't know if you want to jump in.
Yeah, because after that, I started going to the part where they're at the party. I can't remember if there was any scenes in between that. Because I think when he gets back, he gets a chastising by the old Zorro, who's like, "Oh, you went there, you made a big scene in the barracks, you stole his horse, and blah blah blah." And they kind of get like butt heads quite a bit, and you think they're gonna maybe break up, like not help each other anymore. But then suddenly De La Vega's like, "We have to go to a party and work on our charm," because he says,
"Choose your weapon.
Choose your weapon.
You want to face me? Choose your weapon." And he pulls out the sword. Alejandro pulls out the sword, and then Diego goes with a spoon.
Yeah. So then you got to learn about etiquette and stuff, because he's got to charm his way into the ball and learn more about whatever Raphael's plot is.
More high class society, because he's obviously been a lowly like thief his whole life, so he wouldn't have that kind of training. But my question to you is, did he train him how to dance? Or did he already know how to do that? Because
I'm guessing he already knew.
Because he's a fantastic dancer. I don't know if he would have had time to train him
I mean, like
as well.
I view it like in like that time, that era, that place. That, you know, a lot of people like to dance. Like, you didn't have a lot to do, so you just go down to like the saloon or the watering hole, find a lady, and that was your entertainment for the night. So maybe he got good at dancing. He just, I could believe that.
Maybe that's what it was. He already knew it. He didn't need Diego to train him.
Yeah.
And then they go to this gala. There's this highfalutin, high society kind of thing that. Who was it? Don? Was it Raphael that was putting it on?
Raphael was putting it on.
Yeah, he had a whole bunch of like the higher up classmen there as well.
Because they gave out invites, which somehow they got a hold of an invite, and they go into the guys that Alejandro is a young noble from Spain, and Hopkins is his servant.
Yeah, Bernard.
Yeah. And they get in there, and he's like saying a lot of stuff about how the Queen actually likes Don Raphael, and he's like, "What? I thought the Queen didn't like me." He's like, "In public, yes, but in private circles, she admires your whatever."
Yeah.
And so they go there. One thing I found really distracting is that whole time that Don Raphael's wearing this purple suit jacket, and I'm like, it just seems out of place color-wise. But also, like, purple was supposed to be reserved for like nobility back then. Like, it was a really hard color for fabrics to earn, so only the richest people would have purple stuff.
Okay.
So I'm like, that's kind of weird that he's wearing a big purple coat this whole time. That bothered me.
He's trying to show that he is like the highest class.
But then Alejandro is both charming and antagonizing Elena.
He's doing like a Bruce Wayne sort of thing. Like he's pretending not to be himself, while also he's trying to be likable but not too likable.
But he's like still like it's not like some of it's just to deny him being Zorro.
Yeah.
But some of it's just like throwing shade. Like he dances with her, like they put on a really intimate dance to distract the dons and stuff.
Yeah.
And then afterwards he's like, your daughter is very spirited.
Yeah.
And it's like he's putting it all on her and she's like, what? Yeah. You asked me to dance to something a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And it's like he's
so insulting her.
He's like insulting her, yeah.
Like, well, you can see, like, she was obviously, like, interested, and she's, like, enamored by this guy, and then he insults her, and it's, like, storms off.
I thought that was weird. Some guy that you just met at this party, and kind of gives you this hot, cold reaction, comes up to you, and, like, they didn't dance, or they did briefly dance. I guess they did.
They did do a quick one before that, and then...
But to do something that intimate, that dance...
Then they, like, ask the band to, like, turn it up a notch or something.
Because he's, like... She puts her head like right next to his, and he's like got his head down so he can like look down at her shirt, like just the pose that they're in. And it's like, really, some guy you just met, you're doing this?
That was sexy as hell.
It was sexy.
I loved it. Yeah, and the music too. That's awesome. It was great. And then it would have been from this that they would have taken Alejandro and all the other like hired classmen to the mine.
Yeah. Well, first they go to a meeting. They go to a meeting where they explain what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And then he's going to show them the mine the next day, which we just cut to the next day.
And we never saw how he got there, and he doesn't even know how he got there because he says later that he was blindfolded, or the drapes on. The characters were draped on. That's what it was. So he couldn't even see how he got there. But this is where we see that they basically have slave labor mining for gold.
But it's a lot of the people that we've seen earlier. Like Three Finger Jack is there. The priest was there. I'm sure there was someone else I'm forgetting now.
We see some kid. I don't know if it's just around.
There was a kid.
Literally a kid there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's like Three Finger Jack. He has his whole speech because he knows that you saw that what's his face, Love was there, and he was doing his speech, and he wants to kind of try and get him. Obviously, you don't have a chance. He's in this mine cart and with a pickaxe, and he goes he tries to fly at him, and then just gets shot out of the air with the pickaxe.
Yeah.
Love starts laughing. That's the second time I shot that man in the air.
Yeah. But it's weird because around that time, that's when like Captain Love asks Alejandro, come see me at my outpost or whatever, his office, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And he has an idea that Alejandro is apparently the old the horse thief. And like, how does he know? Like, because the change is pretty dramatic from what he used to look like to what he is then.
Yeah.
Plus now he's put on like a little mustache and he's talking different and everything. Like he's a totally different person. But we never why would he suddenly suspect that this guy from Spain is... I'm
only thinking maybe because this guy suddenly popped up around the same time that he lost track of Alejandro. So
but he never even got a good look at Alejandro. Like when he saw him outside of town and then they run to the brush. But he's never been closer to him than that.
Do we know that's in this movie? But do we know that there's not like a past history for this? Because obviously they have bounties of them.
So that's the only thing I think of is that the picture on the bounty. But how good do you think those were? I don't know if I could recognize them based on that.
I don't know. But he only has an inkling thinking that he is. He doesn't know for sure. Which is why you can see he tests him.
Pull out this jar.
This big jar with his brother's head in it. He just does that for all his guests. Apparently, the real Love did do that, though. He literally just displayed his head and hand.
I read that, too. I'm trying to remember if he drank stuff out of it, because he literally pours a drink from it or whatever.
When he's leaving, Alejandro does take a scoop, and he does drink out of it.
Which I thought he would, spit or throw up once he got out the door, because you see him outside the door. And I was like, okay, this is the part where he throws up, and then, he just gets mad or something.
It got, that head... I'm surprised it's still a PG-13 movie because that is dark. That is a dark moment when that happens.
That comes compared to the rest of the movie. It comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, the tonal shift that happens right then. It's like whoa. Like if I was showing this to my kids, I'd have to cover their eyes. I think that'd be a little hard to watch. The hand not so much, but the head staring you in the face, and it's his brother. That's literally the worst thing that you could have thought of to have in a jar is your brother's head.
But it's why did he keep it? Did he know he was gonna find his brother? For all he knew, Alejandro could just run off and never come back to that territory.
I think it's the trophy because he's been chasing them for I don't know who knows how long, and he's like, haha, I got them. This is my trophy. This is what I do with my bounties.
Three Finger Jack, I could get that because he saw Alejandro talk to him and kind of embrace him in death.
Yeah.
So maybe that one makes sense, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up if you ask me, Love. Not a cool dude. Not a cool guy. Zorro and Elena's.
Okay. And that's when Elena. We cut to Elena at one point, and she's in like the marketplace, and the old maid that she had when she was like a baby recognizes her and gives her this scarf thing or kerchief or whatever. Gives her a scarf, and Elena's like, "Oh, it's so beautiful. How much?" And she's like, "She's already gone." She went back to her stall, and she goes to the stall, and she's like, "Oh, she gave me this." And she's talking to this woman's daughter now.
Yeah.
And apparently the maid doesn't speak English
or Spanish,
whatever.
Not sure which language.
Whatever language she's using, but we've seen her before. Like in the earlier part of the movie, she's speaking to John de la Vega.
But then they were speaking whatever language that was. We just saw the English version of it. Maybe like, I don't know. I don't know if like Mayan is like what their language would have been back then, before the Spanish.
But they should have just had her speaking like that then.
Was it really necessary? I don't know. Yeah, why would they have a different language for her to speak?
I think there is some kind of
mystique
to it, where like some woman who doesn't even speak the language knows you, kind of thing. Like that's a mystique.
Also, yeah,
it doesn't really work when she
having the barrier of them like not interacting face to face and having some translate makes it a little more interesting in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but it like doesn't really pay off when you messed it up like that. It doesn't really work.
And that's pretty far fetched for her to know that this is that girl from 20 years ago when she was literally a baby.
Yeah.
And she looks like her mom. I get that she did look a lot like her mother, but I'm sure there's other people in your life that you would have seen could have looked like this as well.
It could have been like it's actually my mother's niece.
Yeah. It could have been a relation of some sort. Just to assume that this is that girl that disappeared 20 years ago. That's pretty far fetched.
Unless she was somehow aware, because she was there that night when Don Raphael came.
Yeah.
So maybe she knew that the baby got taken by the Don.
Then you'd think she'd be like, "Oh, you're not the Don's daughter," or something like that. Tell her
I
straight
know.
up, "You're not Raphael's kid. You're Diego's. What are you doing, lady?"
I don't know.
So I don't think she knew all that. I don't know. That was like a question for me too. I was like, how does she know that this is that person?
Yeah. See, I hate trying to explain things for the movies.
But I know also this is a movie like. I forgive it because it is more of a fun, don't think about it too much type of movie. It's not one that I want to get too in depth with all the little smaller details. It was a good moment. It was a sweet moment, I would say.
Yeah. But then they got to blow up the mine because someone found out about the gold, because what they were doing, they were mining gold out of this mine that they were taking to pay off this
Santa
Ana guy who already owned the territory. That gold was already supposed to be his. He just didn't know about it.
Yeah, they're literally taking from him to
pay him to buy the territory
from him. Yeah, exactly.
But then Captain loves just blowing it up, which that kind of felt out of character for him. He always felt like a lot more calculating. Yeah. And the big explosion doesn't seem very calculated.
Gotta get rid of the people too.
So then, like, they realize. Both Zorros, realize they got to steal the map because they got to save everyone there. Although the old Zorro, Hopkins is like, I just want my revenge. I don't care about this anymore. I want to go in for the revenge.
Yeah.
So Banderas goes to steal the map, and there's like a whole scene where he breaks back into the villa that Raphael's in.
Yeah.
Which he does a lot like a Spider-Man thing. He's always like seems to be up on the roof every time, sneaking around.
Yeah, he was in the rafters there, and he got the map there.
Got the map, and then Love goes back to like get all the documents and he realizes the map's missing, and Zorro's already there like approaching him. Which this is something that really bugged me because they have a fight. Like he fights Love there, and then Love and Raphael both like fighting Zorro.
Yeah,
Zorro on his own fighting both of them, and then like basically Zorro just escapes. Alejandro just escapes from there, and it's like, well, that's not the climax. So him fighting.
Love later on, one-on-one.
It's not going to mean anything. We already know he's better. He's good enough to take on both the villains.
Yes.
So
it's just a matter of the situation you're put in, though. I guess when you're fighting one-on-one with someone else, like maybe they can have the upper hand because they have another weapon, or maybe they have someone else helping, or maybe he's wounded or something later on.
But there was a lot of like classic cheese like stuff there too. Like they have a big map of Mexico on the wall, and like at one point Banderas gets like backed up against the wall there. And there's like eight guards all there, and they're got him at the point of their swords, and they're like, they go and charge him.
Yeah.
He steps out of the way, which it's not quick. It's like he's got like 2 or 3 seconds where he steps out of the way, cuts the cord.
Yeah.
The guys are like I don't know. They're going right to the map, even though he clearly moved.
Yeah. They're not avoiding it whatsoever. They let it drape over them.
And the map falls on them, and they're like, oh, that's an old school, like, oh, the net fell on them.
Yeah, exactly. That's something you would see like an old Robin Hood movie or something, or probably like an old Zorro, I would guess.
That really did not look good. It just looked so bad.
There was some moments like that. It was cheesy, but I fucking loved it.
Then he runs into, as he's leaving, he runs into the stables, and he comes across Zeta-Jones, who now she wants to stop this guy, because before she felt like she was doing the wrong thing by letting him go, and now she wants to make up for it by fighting him with a sword.
Oh, and she's like, give it back. He's like, what are you talking about? Whatever it is that you took.
Yeah. And she is a trained sword fighter, she said.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a fight, and she's decent. She's decent with a sword at least. But Zorro outclasses her quite easily.
Yeah.
And
he's more so playing with her than anything.
Yeah. But then you get the scene where he like cuts her clothes off while she's standing there.
Well, yeah, she's off screen. You're looking at him going.
Yeah. And then she's just standing there, and it's a bad effect.
It's a perfect effect for what you want.
No, but I mean, it looks like there's too much tension. Like something is clearly pulling on the clothes down.
There's some wires that yank it down.
Yeah, but her clothes just after like a second fall.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, covers her top and stuff. Yeah. I think it looks bad.
It's funny how they don't get any of her hair that are draped in front of the things that he would have cut.
I find it. I seem to remember that scene was in the trailers. I remember. I feel like I saw.
No, I'm pretty sure it was in the trailers.
The trailers they have that in there.
I do remember that a lot, and I read a little bit about Catherine Zeta-Jones. She said filming that actually they got her really enamored. Like she was kind of horny doing that scene. She was really into that scene. She really liked doing it.
But yeah, and when I was watching that scene, I stopped to make a note about how I thought that was badly done.
Yeah, you didn't do that on purpose.
You would think so, because I paused it, I write my note, I look back up, you can see the nipple. You can see the nipple, and I was like, what? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go frame by frame. Like, how much do you see? One frame in that scene. Yeah. So I'm like, wow, I paused right on the.
You were on there for like half an hour to the and stop and stop. See, I couldn't do. I had a VHS back in the day. All you did was those bars.
I borrowed this from you.
Damn it! I'm saying that when I had the VHS back in the day.
Yeah.
If I tried pausing at the right time, I wouldn't have been able to see because the bars would have been in the way. And
yeah. Well, I only found that out now. It's not like I was looking at it on VHS.
But you sent me the picture that.
I sent you the picture,
which we'll probably show here, so you can. I'll have to blur out the little scene.
It's blurry too. You're not really seeing much.
You gotta really focus in on it, which I definitely did. But that was also another sexy scene, I'd say, between the dancing that they did. This fight between them was a back and forth. It was really well done.
Even afterwards, Zorro runs away, and then her dad and Captain Love and the others run in trying to pursue Zorro, and they see her there naked. Like, what are you doing in here? She's like, I was fighting the masked man. He's like, what would it look like? He was vigorous, father. Vigorous.
Very vigorous.
Very vigorous. She's getting horny, like you said.
Yeah. And she literally was. I really also like the next scene where he's chasing. Or he's getting chased by on the horses. Yeah, that was actually he gets knocked off the horse again because he gets clotheslined.
That's the thing. The horse never.
And they never noticed that, so they're still chasing his horse.
Yeah.
And then he hops on the back guy's horse, and he's slowly taking them out one by one. He's punching or he's jumping off the horse onto another horse. And then at one point he rides two horses and he's standing up. And that was awesome, man. It was a really well done choreographed scene.
The one thing, the two horses thing, to me, the most impressive thing was when he's on those two horses standing up. And then he jumps a branch.
Yeah, hops over the branch.
And lands back on there.
Yeah.
He does it only briefly, because he goes, jumps, he lands it, and then plops down on there. But to make that jump, I think that'd be incredibly hard. So, that trick of him riding horses, standing to him, he jumps that branch and then sits down. That was hard. How do you keep in control, but then also just jump and land? And the horses could have gone either way.
You got to have the horses the right distance apart. You got to have them the same speed.
Yeah.
And then you're galloping differently too.
Well, you have to let go of the reins, and then the horses have no one in control. So that, to me, is the biggest thing.
Yeah. Exactly. It's impressive. It was an impressive bunch of jumping off of horses. Even when you do a flip and then roll around and he's facing backwards on the one horse. It was a really cool moment.
Unnecessary to be on the back of the facing backwards. He just did that to surprise them.
He was just being cocky. It seemed at that point, basically. And then they go to the mine. That's kind of where the big climax of the movie happens. The bad guys they're gonna blow up the mine. They're gonna blow up the people that are working at the mine as well too.
Yeah.
And so Alejandro and Diego both come there to try and stop him.
Well, Diego's only there because he wants his revenge. He does not really care about the mine.
I mean, yes, I'm sure he cares about the people.
Yeah.
But his driving force is the revenge. Yeah, well, against Raphael.
He like when he's fighting Raphael, he's like, "You can go and save the guys. I'm fighting Raphael."
Yes,
that doesn't even stop.
Look, I think he knew that Alejandro was capable, so he was letting him go do the big job, and I'll just take care of Raphael basically. Yeah, when they got to the mine, I know it was the second time we've seen it, but them doing like a big fight, like fighting all the henchmen and the bad guys. It reminded me of like a video game, like the way it was set up and having the carts and then having the different tiers. And like it felt like like a mission that you would have in like Grand Theft Auto or something, or sorry, Red Dead Redemption.
I was gonna just bring up one thing because briefly before they go to the mine, Vega confronts him at his home before then because that's how he gets freed. He gets freed by Elena. Because Elena, like they're all in front of Elena.
That's right.
When that happens.
They threw him down the stairs there at one point. Yeah, and that's where he got the scar on his face.
Scar on his face and stuff. But I just thought it was funny because Raphael at that point, like when Vega comes back, because he generally believed that he was dead, I guess. But when he's like. It's like Vega's like, remember me? And he pulls down then to show that Z on his neck.
Did he show the Z? See,
he pulled it down.
I don't remember seeing it for some reason. Okay.
And he pulls it down and shows him, like, hey, remember who gave you this, son? And then he's like, I thought about you for the last 20 years. And Raphael's like, I haven't given you a second thought. I'm like, okay, he knows that's not true.
Bullshit.
The very first thing you did when you came back is you went to the prison.
Yeah.
So exactly. He knows you're like, it's not a good one.
You've been on his mind for 20 fucking years. Don't even act like it.
But then they go to the mine. That's how Zeta-Jones shows up. Yeah,
and she learns the truth of who her father is at the mine.
And then, because what's his name sneaks in. Banderas sneaks in on his own, like dresses like a monk, bringing them water.
He like gives water to that one guy.
But I thought it was very funny that Captain Love, instead of just lighting the thing, he shoots it. He shoots the thing to ignite it. It's like, first of all, would that work? And secondly.
I don't know if it would work,
Secondly, why waste the bullet? These are old-time guns where you're going to be like loading.
It looks cool. That's why. Look cool. It looks cool. Just shoot the fuse, Yeah. Get it started. Looks badass.
Yeah, and then that's because then Vega eventually shows up too. He gets revenge. Mm-hmm. But I gotta wonder, why did Raphael not just kill him when he captured him? Like the second time, like the first time he wanted to make him suffer. Yeah. But now he's back and he's trying to kill you. He's already suffered. You can't. He's not going to last another 20 years.
Yeah, it's true. Why wouldn't you just kill him right then and there? That would have been your ultimate revenge. He saw what you've done with his daughter for the last 20 years, and he's been suffering this long.
You can kind of say that Vega won because now she's questioning, how does he know all this stuff about me? Well, but Captain Love facing Zorro. Yeah, like I said, it has no weight because we've already seen Zorro beat him with Raphael, and then.
But it's a different atmosphere, so things have changed.
The sword, like he stabs, Love loses and he stabs. Banderas stabs him, but you see, like when he stabs him, it's like okay, he might have gotten in like 4 or 5 inches with his blade, but then like the camera turns to a different shot, and you see like the sword's like all the way through him. It's like no, it was not that fucking deep.
When the camera changed angles, he shoved it in a little bit further.
I'm trying to remember though, how did Vega get shot?
So,
because I know they did the whole thing where Raphael hides behind his daughter, and Vega's like, "No, I won't."
Yeah, he didn't want to use her as a hostage, but Raphael grabs her as a hostage. I think at that point he quickly shot her. Shot at him, but she he was gonna shoot him, I think, and she moved the gun maybe, and it wounded him.
Wounded him, but
it wasn't a killing blow at that time. But I think that's what it was.
It was a mortal wound, but not immediately.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think she kind of stopped him, or tried to stop him.
Okay, I just couldn't remember. I still don't exactly remember.
I think that's what it was. Yeah, it wasn't very clear remembering it now.
Because it all comes down then to like Vega's injured or whatever. Elena goes to help. Banderas go and free the people in the cages. They're all locked in cages, right? They're going to blow up the mine with them trapped in these cages. She goes to help him release them all. And then they have like a big cart of gold. Mm-hmm. And it Alejandro and Captain Love ended up fighting on top of this elevator.
Yeah, it was the elevator swinging from a rope, basically.
Yeah, and then this cart of gold is like kind of on on the ground above that, like on the cliff above it. Just all happens to work together.
Yeah.
And then, like in a last-ditch effort, De La Vega sees that the guy's leg is like in the loop of the carriage.
Yeah,
like,
whatever ropes are tying.
Well, yeah,
attached to the
horse is a harness and stuff.
Yeah.
And he like knocks the brake off the carriage. The carriage just starts going back over the hill, dragging De La Vega or
Raphael.
Don Raphael down there with him, which falls on Captain Love on top of the thing.
Yeah.
And it just looks. It's cool to see like all the gold bars coming down.
Sprinkles all over the place.
But you can see Don Raphael's body. It's clearly a dummy. And it's falling way off to the side.
Yeah, it kind of flies almost like out of frame or something. Almost like it got flung.
Like Love gets crushed apparently. You don't really see it that good from the wide shot. But like you see a close up of his face, like
like hundreds of or thousands of pounds of gold landing on you, gonna kill you. I almost wish though it was a little more of a comeuppance related to like his brother, like he would have like somehow got decapitated in some way. I almost wish that's what would have happened. But I mean, I guess the greediness got to both of them with the gold. That's kind of a good way to end it as well too. I guess it does make sense, but I do wish there was a little bit more of a personal touch to it.
But then when Elena is helping Alejandro open the cages, like she uses like a gun at one point and she shoots at it, but you can see she's nowhere near the lock. Like the gun blast, whatever, from the barrel is way high over the lock. But it's like it goes over and then she just hits it and then it's like, oh, it's off. Yeah. It's like you missed completely.
She was shooting at one of the slaves. That's what she was doing.
Oh yeah, and then he says. Okay, at the very end of the film, because Raphael and Love are dead. They free the prisoners in time from the explosion, and then Anthony Hopkins dies. Yeah, he dies there.
Well, we're talking to his daughter though, like they had to say some final words and stuff.
But then it flashes forwards, and we're like, kind of like the opening scene when Don De La Vega got back home. Now we get to see Banderas' Alejandro come home, and he has a kid. And he's telling stories to her at the crib, or him.
It was a boy. Yeah,
and he's got the flowers. It's exactly the same thing that they're doing. Yeah. But there was one thing he said that Zorro had. Alejandro says that Zorro has been many different men, and I was like, there was De La Vega and you.
Well, I don't know. Maybe De La Vega inherited it from someone before.
That's why I said, is this maybe a continuation from the old serials?
And I know, I was looking this up too, like apparently the 1957 series, the Disney series, Diego was actually the younger, the protege to an Alejandro. Alejandro was the main protagonist, and Diego wound up being like the main guy. That was the younger guy who was the protege.
So I kind of looked it up, but I just saw that Diego was the main guy. But I didn't look up like, oh, he was that protege or whatever.
And I don't know if Elena was anybody's daughter. But she was actually in love with Diego, which was the younger version in that series. So they obviously changed some things from then. So I don't know if it's supposed to be a continuation of that or what this is, or just his own thing. Yeah. It probably is his own thing, is what I'm guessing. I did like in like all the action stuff like that. There was one part where Zorro Alejandro is like going down like a cliffside with like a shovel, and is like skating down the sides. I don't know how it attaches to his feet, but it looked cool.
Yeah,
it looked sweet.
I don't know. I don't like when that kind of snowboarding. Like, it's not snow, but I mean that's what it's trying to mimic.
Yeah,
I hate seeing that kind of stuff in movies. I don't think it films well. I don't think it looks.
I thought it looked badass. Like but he's also like sliding down like a zip line.
Yeah, he's holding onto a.
It wasn't just him like skating. It was just basically just him like protecting his feet as he's going down.
Like that kind of stuff. It reminds me of like. There's like one, Tomorrow Never Dies, or one of the James Bond films where he's and he's like surfing, and I'm like,
Die Another Day, I think it was.
Whatever one it was,
just
that kind of moment.
That was the last
same to me
of the Pierce Brosnan, the most ridiculous one of that era. I'm
just saying that's how it rubs me when I see that kind of stuff.
But yeah, that's basically the story of the movie. That's our rundown. I just got a couple of fun facts that I got here. Apparently like Martin Campbell, the director of the movie, he didn't even want to have the whip in the movie at all. He was kind of adamant that they didn't need to have it. It was of a bygone era. It was actually Anthony Hopkins that said, no, we should have this in the movie. The old Zorro had this stuff, and so he actually trained like quite a bit to use that. So he was actually quite good with the bullwhip.
Okay, the whip is in there and stuff. But I looked at something about it. I can't remember what it was. But I just, in my head, I was just thinking, he never got as good as Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns.
One take. It's all it took to knock those heads off.
I seen her, behind the scenes doing fucking tricks and stuff like that. She was good.
And looked good doing it.
My grandfather had, a bull-whip he got from Mexico. That takes a lot of skill just to crack it. So they got really good. Some good training.
I'm just wondering, since he got so good at it, I don't know if it's true or not, if he actually, did the candles, when he was whipping the candles, if that was really, or if that was just
I don't know.
If that was a practical effect or something. That'd be cool if he actually literally, because then that'd be impressive. If he did do that, because there was 6 candles that he just whipped them all out. That was pretty cool. But that's pretty much all I had for fun facts and the story. Now we can get into the good, the bad, and the ugly of the movie. What things that we liked, things we didn't like, and something that maybe stood out, whether it be good or bad for this movie. We can start with yourself for this.
For the good, I just got Captain Love's look. I really like the way he looks. Okay. To me, he's the quintessential. I don't know, Confederate soldier. No, he's not confused. He's a Union. He's a Union.
You would confuse him for Confederate soldiers. I can see that though.
His look, I think this is right out of a textbook. If you showed that picture, you'd be he's serving in the army, the United States at the time of the Civil War. He looks just like that. Yeah. So I like his look and stuff. I do wish that his character got to come through a little bit. He's not really personally built up. We don't really know anything about him.
Yeah.
But I like his look.
Just a little bit of a clash between him and Alejandro.
That was perfect casting.
Yeah, he was great. Mine is the perfect casting, and it's Antonio Banderas as Zorro or Alejandro, because he carries this. I mean, he doesn't need to carry them because all the other characters are fantastic too, but he is awesome. He's so charming. He is just he embodies the character really well with a bit of comedy to it as well too. He's got great action, and he insisted on doing as much action that he could of his own.
Yeah.
I don't think he did the horseback riding stuff because that's pretty impressive if he did. But a lot of the swordplay, like I said, he did training with the actual Spanish Olympic team, and he got really good. So I really appreciate Antonio Banderas because I thought he was amazing in that role. It was my favorite role of his.
I know Anthony Hopkins didn't do all of this stuff because there's
you don't think that was him that they threw on the stairs?
Certain times it's his wig is way darker than the hair he's got. It's still gray, but it's just too uniform compared to his, which was.
Or when he was young and he was swinging on the on his rope. Obviously that wouldn't have been him 100%. So I'll go to the bad, and for me, I had a hard time finding a bad. I just had such a fun time watching this movie, but I will say it could have maybe been a little bit shorter. I feel like it did extend, it did overstay its length a little tiny bit, 8 to 10 minutes, no more than that. I could say they couldn't. I don't know what you'd cut out though. That's the only thing. I don't know what I would want to cut out because I felt like I was interested in the whole movie. I was along for the ride the whole time. I just do feel like it could be a tad shorter. I just don't know what I would cut.
I thought the length was okay. Yeah. Mine, not all of them, but some of the campy stuff in the combat, I did not like. Like I said, I mentioned that map when they cut the map and all the guys are still charging at the map, even though he's clearly over there. Or when he's swinging from poles. Why are people just shooting him?
Yeah, still.
They stand there when he goes and gets
Oh, wait. Let him jump across first.
Yeah. To me, the movie kind of plays this line where it wants to be, whatever, at that time, 1998, the modern view of an action movie, but also they want to give, credence back, a reference to the 1950s stuff was a little more camp and goofy and whatever. And it kind of breaks. It doesn't quite mesh perfectly. There is some stuff, I didn't mind, when he whips the gun and pulls them all over,
But as soon as I saw that, I realized, okay, it's not going to be too serious.
So it's not all of it, but there are some moments in those ones when I see them, okay, you're just being too obvious with it now, right? That's just the point of it.
And I loved it. They could have even went a little bit further if they really wanted to, because I was on board. For me, it felt kind of almost like Indiana Jones when it gets a little bit cheesy. When some of the fights that they have, or some of the action, like Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom when they're on the mine carts and they jump the minecart and they landed perfectly. It's okay, that is cheesy as hell, but that is fun to watch. I love that. Or even when he's fighting the big dude and he gets his turban or his whatever thing caught and he's getting slowly pulled in, the big dude.
Yeah.
He's getting pulled into the rock crusher. And he's all scared. It's comedy. It's dark comedy, but it is cheesy, but it is fun. And this movie, I felt did a lot of that, and I loved it. I loved it for that. So I guess the ugly. What would be your ugly?
The ugly. Anthony Hopkins as a Spanish man, just that was always distracting. He's good, great acting and everything, but I'm like, this is just an English guy every time. So that was what I found distracting, because it's not terrible. Like, he is a good actor and everything. He's just you cannot see it when I look at him.
Would he have been more distracting as Gandhi or as Diego? Well, because he was in rumors to be Gandhi back in the day before they made it with
I think
Ben Kingsley.
I would have to hear him. Like, I'm assuming they put makeup on him.
I would guess. Would that be okay?
I don't think it'd be okay. But if that was what they did. I'm just saying, I know. Under that premise, if he's got the makeup and stuff, because I don't know, he just didn't look it here. I don't know if he really did any makeup in this one either to try and look more tanned.
I don't know,
a little bit.
Maybe. I mean, it might have been just a natural tan from being outside all the time. It didn't bother me at all with Anthony Hopkins. It's something you're probably not going to see ever again. You probably won't have an English actor playing a Mexican, but I appreciated him. Mine is this was just kind of, because it was definitely so jarring. Literally, the jars that he puts on the table. It was cool, and it really brought like some seriousness to the movie. But it was like a jarring moment when you do see that head, like his brother, and like, how do you not just want to beat this guy to death?
Well, you probably forgot about it too at that point, because it never really comes up again.
Yeah, you're not really thinking about it, and then he just reveals, oh shit, that is dark.
Yeah.
But I liked it. It's just that was a standout moment that kind of was distracting. Yeah. But that is it for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Next, we like to do some reviews that we find online. I like to look at the Joe Schmo down the road, Letterboxd. Usually, anybody can do a review. I usually do like a lower review, middle, and then a higher. And then he likes to do the more professional ones, the Metacritics and the Rotten Tomatoes stuff sometimes. So we'll start with you, my friend.
Okay.
We'll go for yours.
I go. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that I agree with, as long as I can understand their point of view. And I try to go from like high to low, like something top range, something in the middle, and then something like lower, right? Doesn't have to be the lowest or the highest, but yeah, as long as it fits those categories. Anyways, from Newsweek, this spirited rerun, neatly mixing parody and panache, squeezes a surprising amount of fun out of the old warhorse. A score of 80 out of 100.
Panache. That's a good word. Yeah. Panache.
Yeah, and it is like, it's the old stuff, and they're milking it a little bit. I don't say, maybe milk is not the right word, but they are like trying to bring it forth. Or they're trying to bring it back into style, I guess, for this movie, or like make reference to it at least. But yeah, it's spirited, and it's a little bit parody, because some stuff. But yeah, I quite agree with that one. But then the Globe and Mail from Toronto specifically, the return to an Errol Flynn style hero who can swing from chandeliers, fight with 2 swords at a time, and ride a horse backwards recalls a movie era both sexier and innocent. Which, you mentioned yourself the Errol Flynn connection and stuff, and fighting with 2 swords, like the swashbuckling stuff, like there's all there.
Exactly.
I don't know if he did swing from a chandelier, but he swings from a lot of stuff.
I think he does, actually. I think he actually did do a chandelier thing when he was in the barracks at one point.
Okay.
I think he did.
They gave that a 75 out of 100. So then finally we get to the Dallas Observer, a romantic adventure movie slapstick. That's quite a word. A romantic adventure movie slapstick that's too screwy for the action crowd and too old-fashioned for the Home Alone contingent. A score of 40 out of 100.
What?
So I'm kind of like, I got the old, some of that sword fighting and stuff like the map, like I brought up before. That's like a callback to like an old school filming, which I had an issue with. I don't think it's really like gets too gritty or anything for like the modern action guys. Like, there's hardly any blood in this film.
No, like, it's minimal.
Yeah, like I think when he gets stabbed, like stabbed Captain Love, and then you see the wound on his arm just so they can show the blood. Yeah, but there isn't a whole lot more.
Or he etches the Z in his neck. Or the M that Alejandro puts on.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But no, I was gonna say you see Three Finger Jack, he's got in his mouth when he's dying.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it does have a little bit of that where it tries to go a little bit of everything, which doesn't really 100% fulfill everyone's like wants and needs for this film. It can turn some people off, I think. Yeah. Some.
Okay, I mean, I agree with some of that stuff, but that last guy, I don't agree with him. So yeah, I go to like Letterboxd to use the reviews that I'll pick up. I'll start from lowest to highest. So this is a 0.5-star review. This person, I didn't watch it, but heard it playing in the other room, and now I never want to watch it. 0.5 star. Idiot. This one is a 3.5 star. They really don't make them like this anymore. Freaking movie magic. Very horny for everyone, including Anthony Hopkins. All right. And so I kind of agree with that. It was kind of horny, like especially the back and forth between Zeta-Jones and Antonio Banderas. Hopkins, he was pretty sexy looking.
Well, okay,
too.
Sexy looking. Okay, I thought you were saying
sexy.
Probably this for his age at that time. That's probably the sexiest he's been.
Being in his 60s. Yeah, no, and they don't make them like this anymore. I kind of miss movies being made like this, where they could have that campiness to it, but also a more serious tone at the same time. It's kind of hard to balance that sometimes. I feel like this movie does a good job of that. And then this is a 5-star review. When you look up the word sexy, Google just shows a 4K copy of this movie.
Okay.
And that's all the reviews that I grabbed for this. They were just a little bit of fun.
Well, that guy says that he didn't watch it. We heard it in the other room or playing.
Yeah.
I was like, the main score is okay. I like that song that they play as well. Like it comes up. Like, that's pretty nice.
I liked a lot of when the music like beats really hit too. Like when they would speed up and they would really energize the action a lot more.
Accentuate it.
Yeah, it was great. So that's it for the online reviews. Next, we like to do our own reviews. Say what we thought about the movie. Go ahead, sure.
Yeah. So like I said, to me this was like kind of like a contrast of the old school, kind of giving reverence to that, and trying to make it something new and accessible for the people in 1998. The action film, it's fun. It is a lot of fun. I know people hate saying like fun. The film's fun because it doesn't really tell you a whole lot.
Yeah,
but
fun usually means it's not the most intelligent movie. It means that it's pleasing to the eyes and has some it has some sort of.
Well, a lot of times they say it's like kind of shut your brain off and it's fun because
a lot of times. Yeah.
This one there is like a little bit like there is the revenge stuff about them all. They're trying to pull out some stuff, but if you don't really care about all that, you're still gonna enjoy the action. I think.
Yeah.
Like some of it gets a little bit cheesy, but like it's good fun. It's good sword fighting. It's whatever. Interesting. Everything's moving. It's dynamic and stuff. That's like that being said, It doesn't go over the top. It doesn't reach like the higher echelons of action films and stuff. So I'm gonna give this like a 7.5 out of 10. Not bad by any means, but it's not great. I'm trying to think what else came out at this time that for action films, like how would it compare to? Like I'm thinking like
Matrix would have come out with 98 or 99.
Yeah. So that's quite that's quite a different.
Yeah,
style of action.
Different style of action.
I was gonna say like is like Batman Forever around this time too, or is that a little bit earlier?
Forever or Batman and Robin might have been around this time actually.
But yeah, because that kind of goes the opposite way where it goes more old school with that.
Yeah, I mean those got campy, but not for the better.
And they went down.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it kind of fits right in the middle of all that.
Yeah, and I think I like this movie more than I've ever liked it. Like I liked it. I remember back 20 some odd years ago. I enjoyed it. And I just had so much fun watching this movie. It was a blast for me. I really miss movies doing something like this where it gives you more serious subject matter, but it's able to throw a bit of campiness and comedy into it. It doesn't need to be completely dark and serious. I feel like if they did Zorro now, it would be just way too serious. It wouldn't have that campiness. I feel like they would do kind of like what Robin Hood is doing now with like the Hugh Jackman movies, like the death of Robin Hood. I think they would kind of go that route. They'd go more serious and dark and, kind of like the end of his life sort of thing. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. I had such a blast with this. I started off like liking it and I ended up loving it by the end of the movie. So I'm at a 9 out of 10 with the movie. I really enjoyed it. I had so much fun with it. I had a hard time saying anything negative, honestly. Like even the negative things, I was like, that's me reaching. I just really enjoyed this movie. But that is it for Zorro. Stay tuned for another episode that we're going to be doing. We're going to be seeing next.
We're going to be seeing, well, we got the Z for Zorro. So next for Revenge Month, we're going to be watching V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
That's my pick for this month. And I guess if you want to find me, you can find me on Twitch as The Lewis Lightning. It's all one word. You can also type that into YouTube, The Lewis Lightning, all one word. And you'll find some old gameplay videos there. Stuff from like the PS3 era. You can check that out.
And you can find me all over the place as countryboy_9 or right here as countryboy9er. I just unboxed a bunch of stuff like this Indiana Jones. I just brought him because he's got a bullwhip and he's similar tone, I'd say, movie-wise. But yeah, I just unboxed stuff. I'm here. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitch, Twitter, wherever you want to look for me. I'm sure you'll find me somewhere.
And you can find both of us on Wasted Opinions.
Yeah.
We're on there with a third man, Muskeg. We talk movies, we talk TV shows, video games, food, music, all the kind of like pop culture-y stuff. You know, I mean, food's not really pop culture, you gotta have it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we talk whatever comes across our plate, and it's it's great fun. So you check that out. It's fun.
Check
really
out that
fun.
channel. If you like fun, if you like this movie, you'll love our channel.
But yeah.
But that will do it for Zorro, I suppose.
Yeah.
Today on Mallard Matinee, we are talking about 1998's The Mark of Zorro.
Mask.
Try again. The Mask. Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be a fucking Mark of Zorro. I think that's probably what one of the shows was called, or one of the movies, like in the early 1950s or something. The Mark, or maybe even like a comic book. All right, we'll try it again.